Hey everyone, thank you all for joining us today. It's 1:31, so I might kick off. We're pretty well on time, which is great. My name's Tim from Solutions Plus, so I'll sort of kick off the session, and then I'll hand over to Hal for more of the practical side of it. Today we're going to be talking about payroll, more specifically how payroll should work with your ERP and not as something that sits alongside it. We're going to show you how PaySolutions connects people, pay, and productivity directly into Wiise and SAP Business One without creating additional admin or complexity. So I mentioned my name's Tim. I look after customer success here at Solutions Plus. For some of you, we would have already met through projects, calls, or previous sessions. So it's great to see you all again. And for anyone I'm meeting for the first time, great to meet you and welcome. So my role is basically about helping customers achieve great results with Solutions Plus, whether it's choosing the right technologies or getting that technology implemented well, and then supporting customers as their needs change over time. And part of helping customers achieve those results is making sure they're talking to the right experts at the right time. And that's where someone like Hal comes in. So Hal, he's our payroll specialist and works closely with our customers on payroll configuration, awards, payrolls, and integrations into ERP. He brings the depth and detail we need to make sure that payroll is set up properly from the start so that finance and operations can rely on the outputs without any extra work. Between the two of us today, primarily Hal, we're going to show you how payroll can work as a reliable part of your ERP. So what is PaySolutions? At its core, PaySolutions is a payroll platform that's built on top of Employment Hero's payroll engine, formerly known as KeyPay, widely regarded as best in class, particularly for the Australian and New Zealand market. PaySolutions is layering Solutions Plus's expertise on top of that payroll, particularly around ERP integration, business operations, and financial structure. A simple way to think about it is this. PaySolution takes payroll data that can traditionally be messy from a finance perspective and helps turn it into clean ERP-ready information that's designed to handle complex payrolls, awards, conditions, and all the things that can happen in real life, but still be easy to run day to day. Where PaySolutions really stands out is how it can integrate with ERP systems like Wiise or SAP Business One. It allows data to flow cleanly into finance, which means that journals, cost centers, dimensions are all handled correctly at the source rather than being fixed after the fact. And the result of that is payroll data that finance teams can trust. So today's session is also going to be focused on integration. We're going to walk through how PaySolution connects into Wiise and SAP Business One and what that actually looks like in practice. The aim from today's session as well isn't to go sort of really deep or granular on every detail, every payroll feature, but to give an idea of how payroll data is structured, how it's processed, and then posted into an ERP in a way that finance teams can trust. It'll be a practical walkthrough covering end-to-end from payroll implementation right through to journals into ERP. And as we go, there's kind of a main theme that I think we keep coming back to, which is this idea of people, pay, and productivity all being connected. So what's the problem we're solving? I think the thing that we see time and time again is that payroll sits outside of people's ERPs or businesses' ERPs. Things like payrolls, awards, and adjustments tend to be handled via spreadsheet or even manually on bits of paper. The data is usually good enough to get people paid, which is a really important part of it, but it's not structured in a way that works for finance or reporting. And that gap creates extra effort on every pay run, particularly as organizations grow or as your payroll becomes more complex. And over time, it turns payroll into something that's a workaround rather than something that business can rely on. I think with that, I'm ready to hand over to Hal. Hal, thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate having your time today.
Yeah, hi everyone. My name's Hal. I'm the payroll specialist here at Solutions Plus. I work closely with our customers to implement PaySolutions, and then once you're live on the platform, continue to support you as your ongoing point of contact. One of the things I really enjoy about my role is seeing how the right setup can genuinely improve efficiency and make payroll and workforce management easier for teams day to day. Today, I'm going to step you through the PaySolutions platform and walk you through the key screens you'll use regularly. We'll start with configuration. This is where the payroll accuracy compliance are set up, then move through employee management, leave management, rostering, timesheets, and expense management. From there, I'll walk you through the pay run process live so you can see how everything comes together, and finish by showing you how the payroll journals flow seamlessly into ERP systems like Wiise or SAP Business One. helping keep payroll and finance aligned. Let's kick things off with configuration. So Solutions Plus, before any payroll configuration starts, we get deliberate and explicit about the outcomes that we're trying to achieve. Configuration should be a response to agreed outcomes, not the place where decisions are discovered. This is the most key step of your implementation. This is where we really get to know your business. We start with configuration because this is where the foundation of the entire platform starts. This is where business entities, pay schedules, awards, tax, superannuation, and user permissions are established. This is also where most of the payroll issues usually occur. If something isn't right here, it typically shows up later as manual fixes, reworks, or compliance risks during payroll. In my experience as a payroll specialist consultant, I've worked with clients who previously have spent over an hour manually adjusting their pay run each period due to complex award conditions or irregular entitlements. By implementing a tailored payroll solution with rule sets, we're able to automate these manual adjustments, significantly reducing processing time and virtually eliminating errors. The configuration is where this outcome is achieved, and diving deeper into this can lead to immense efficiency improvements to your business. Let's talk about employee management. Once configuration is then complete, employee records are created with classifications, pay rates, and employment conditions. Any changes made here flows directly through to payroll without re-entry, which reduces admin effort and ensures payroll is always working with accurate and current information. A key step in your employee management phase is ensuring your data is correct. During this phase, we find explaining what fields map to where gives you a better insight of what your data means for your implementation. And if a cleanup of that data is necessary, we'll help you work through that. As you can see on the screenshot here, the manufacturing award is preloaded into the system. PaySolutions has over 60 Fair Work Modern awards preloaded and configured into which are automatically updated to go alongside legislative and CPI wage increase changes that may affect your chosen award. This will give your team assurance that pay rate reviews are a thing of the past for award-based employees. Not only are there preloaded awards, but custom enterprise agreements and pay rate templates can be built from the ground up to suit any business requirements. Solutions Plus will assist with this where needed. On to leave management. So PaySolutions leave is configured in line predominantly with awards and company policies, which can include accrual bases and leave loading allowances. Employees can request their leave via the web or their mobile app, which submits their reporting manager to approve, feeding directly into payroll. Automation in this step is really key with PaySolutions, enabling a huge reduction of paperwork. Nothing worse than flipping through paper trying to find someone's leave request. Let's take a look at rostering. So the rostering is really about planning and visibility before the payroll even begins. This feature allows managers to build the rosters out based on roles, locations, and availability, giving a clear view of who's working, when they're working, and where they're working. It's a proactive tool rather than a reactive one. One of the key benefits here is the visibility of labor coverage and costs ahead of time. Managers can see potential issues early, such as understaffing, overtime expenditure, or non-compliant shifts, and make adjustments before the roster is even published. Once those rosters are published, employees can view their shifts directly in PaySolutions via the web or mobile app, reducing back and forth communication and stressful last-minute changes that may occur. Rostering also creates a strong link between planning and execution. When a roster is followed, it can flow directly into the timesheets and comparisons can be made, reducing discrepancies between what was scheduled and what's ultimately paid to the employees. A main value of rostering here is that it helps businesses stay organized, control labor costs, and avoid surprises at payroll time by addressing these issues earlier in the process. Let's flow on to timesheets and attendance. So attendance is captured through timesheets or other clock in and clock out tools available and reviewed by the managers. This approval step ensures that payroll teams are paying only validated hours, and is another common point where payroll issues can occur if approvals are missed. While using PaySolutions, we step you through the different methods of timesheets and attendance, recording for the way that your business operates. This can be utilizing clock in and clock out configuration, or as basic as it comes, just manually entering those timesheets into the app. PaySolutions ensures that all these timesheets are centralized in the one platform, rather than manual paper or Excel timesheets. If you're utilizing rosters in PaySolutions, a neat tool can be the compare to roster function, which can automatically approve those timesheets if they match based on a set rounding criteria, saving your managers time in the process. It can also be just used as a general comparison tool as well. Let's have a look at expense management. So with the expense management function, employees can submit using predefined expenses for approval. And once approved, they can be reimbursed through payroll and passed to finance. This improves visibility and reduces the tedious task of manually processing reimbursements to employees from your accounting package. I've found this can be a small but effective tool in the system. Let's take a look at some of the fun stuff at the pay run itself. The pay run is where really everything comes together, what we've spoken about: earnings, leave, timesheets, and deductions. Payroll teams review and validate the data before finalizing payroll. Built-in checks help identify issues early, giving confidence before payslips, bank files, statutory reporting are generated. And when configuration and approvals are done correctly, this step becomes faster, cleaner, and far less stressful. I'm going to share my other screen now and walk you through the pay run process in the system so you can see how everything we've looked at so far comes together in a live payroll. Just double check, Tim, you can see this okay?
Yep, perfect, Hal.
Beautiful, beautiful. All right. So we'll start with just creating a new pay run here. As you can see, it brings up a screen. We can select our pay schedule. We use a fortnightly schedule. In this case, we've got a starting date and an ending date we can select. We've just got Sunday ending this week and the date that we can select for it to be paid. Let's say Sunday as well. We then have a few options here. If we're doing any manual or ad hoc pay runs, we can just manually add employees or create people with just empty pays. In this case, we're doing a standard pay run. So we want to select that we're wanting to import the timesheets. This is where all those pay runs and predefined rule sets can be brought in and automatically processed. Once we create the pay run, runs through all that data. We have our employees pop up here on our screen, and we can have an initial review. As we can see here for Alice, we've got the timesheets in for her. So we've got all her hours coming down the side here. And we've also got some preloaded annual leave that she took on both of the Fridays for this pay run in question. You can also take a look at the leave that's been accrued during the period. Any leave taken, obviously there's some leave taken in for her and her balance reducing. And any adjustments or deductions that may be at play here for this employee. We can also take a look at Ben. He's a salaried employee in this example. So his hours, he doesn't have any timesheets, but he's just paid at 76 hours for the full fortnight. And what we can do also for him is we have a leave request in here for him. So as we spoke about, leave requests are brought into the system and approved by their managers. And the leave request then pops into the relevant pay run that it's used for. So we can bulk apply this into his pay, and we'll notice how his pay then changes once this applies. So it takes away on this first line here 7.6 hours. It's out of his standard hours and just reclassifies it into his leave taken, in this case, sick leave taken. Again, his leave taken at the bottom here, and he's got some PAYG adjustments for $30 of extra tax that he's taking out. We can also take a look at some warnings that may be provided in the pay run. For example, I don't currently have any bank details. Obviously, this is a test environment. Maybe someone's qualification. Alice's first aid certificate has expired way last year, so that needs to be updated. We can also see the employees reaching leave caps if relevant. And also, I've got a note here about an incomplete pay run task. This is another neat feature in the system. Whereas in the past, I can set for this employee Parmeet here, for example, that he needs to have his quarterly bonus paid. Now, it's not placed in the system. It's maybe something that finance might send me on a spreadsheet, but at least I'm reminded and I can put that in for the future pay runs, and it'll get picked up when the pay run that's relevant comes around. Once we're then obviously finished reviewing, obviously got our key things over the top here: PAYG, any student loans, some super, employee contributions, any expenses that are added or liabilities. We can have a final review. From here, we can look for some reports or draft some pay slips to check things out, and they look all right. In this option, we're just going to finalize the pay run, and we're presented with a few different options here. So we've got creating your super payment. This may be relevant. You can do it manually or on the day. This may become in handy soon once July 1 hits this year with the new payday super laws coming out. So you can do it directly from it, and it'll take you directly to the payment screen to process your super pretty seamlessly in the system as well. Further, we've also got some options for the payslips here. We can just do the payslips basically manually at a later date. We can make them available to the employees now, or we can set a specific time. So let's say I process today at 10 a.m., but I want it sent out at 5 p.m. just in case I need to make any adjustments to the pay run, but at least I know they'll get sent out in there. In this case, we'll just keep everything manual and finalize the pay run. From here, we have a few more options. Again, reporting as before, viewing the process payslips now. That's that manual button now to publish the payslips when we like. If you're using some third-party ERP, you may download your journal, but as we'll speak about later, we have some integrations that will push that data in automatically without you having to download. We've also got the option of the create the super payment, which will take you to the super payment screen. And further, there's a final couple of options here. One's generate your ABA file. Again, we don't have a bank account that's relevant to this test environment. And a last option, which is lodging your pay with the ATO via your STP. Again, this is just a test environment, so we don't have any ABNs linked. That's all for this pay run part that I wanted to show you here. Just to cap this off, so looking at this entire pay run in one workflow, you're reducing a lot of errors by getting all those automatic stuff in there, improve compliance, and give payroll teams the confidence that everything's been processed correctly. I'll stop sharing my screen and Tim can take it back so we can take a look at these automated journals into the ERP. Alrighty. So when integrating PaySolutions with ERP systems like Wiise and SAP Business One, this really can diminish all your time-consuming methods that require you to post your payroll journal with manual exports, manipulation of the data, and imports. It flows directly from PaySolutions into ERP once we've hit that finalize button in a structured and controlled way. Through this integration, general payroll expenses, PAYG, leave, and superannuation liabilities are automatically mapped and can be automatically posted into the correct general ledger accounts with predefined attached cost centers or departments. Once it's configured one time, the process runs consistently every pay cycle, giving your finance team the confidence that what they're seeing in the ERP actually reflects what was processed in payroll. This is a significant improvement over a manual journal download and import process. With manual imports, someone still has to export the file, check it, adjust the mappings, upload it, and then reconcile it in the system. That introduces delays, increases the risk of human error, and often results in the payroll data just being out of sync with the financial reporting. If something goes wrong, it's usually picked up after the fact, which means corrections must be calculated, journals have to be reversed or adjusted, and generally just more time spent reconciling the data. Using the PaySolutions integration with Wiise and SAP Business One, we remove those touch points entirely. The data is system generated, traceable, and repeatable. There's no reliance on spreadsheets, no risk of missed journals, and no dependency on key individuals to just get it right each pay run. It's done for you. Ultimately, this approach delivers more accurate and reporting, stronger compliance, and a much more scalable solution as your business can grow. Something a manual journal export and import process just can't achieve. Here at Solutions Plus, through these integrations, we've seen many businesses allow their staff to focus on bigger and better things, and it's honestly a no-brainer moving forward. The final touch point I want to cover today is just a brief overview of how a full payroll implementation is structured for us here at Solutions Plus. We start with the discovery and design phase, where we take the time to understand your business requirements, payroll rules, awards, and map out that current processes should be worked in the new system so there are no surprises later on. From there, we spoke about configuration, or again, the system is set up to reflect those requirements just spoken about, also tagging on business entities, tax and superannuation settings, user permissions, so the platform is aligned with how your organization actually operates. Once the configuration is complete, we focus on data migration, which can involve cleaning and loading employee data, focusing on those key areas that drive an employee's pay, award selection, pay rate templates, leave allowances, to ensure that continuity and accuracy is followed. We then move into testing, where we validate with you payroll calculations and initial configuration of the system runs correctly. We run a parallel pay run alongside your existing product and resolve any variances to confirm that everything is working as expected and matches your other pay runs before going live. Finally, we reach the exciting go live phase, where the first payroll is processed in the system, and the business transitions with confidence, knowing the setup has been tested and validated end to end. This is where not only your business, but your employees also benefit from your hard work during the implementation. That's all I had for you today. Thank you so much for listening in. I'll gently pass you back to Tim to close off the session.
Beautiful. Thank you very much, Hal. I think probably for me, the key takeaway is that, when payroll is designed to integrate properly, then a lot of that manual effort disappears, and a lot of the complexity disappears as your complexity as a business potentially increases. So you're not creating too much follow-up work. I mentioned earlier how sort of has given us a really nice overview there. There's a lot more detail. You can get a lot more granular into each section of the actual PaySolutions platform and what it does for you. And if that's something that you want to explore further, or you have some more specific questions or areas that you want to dig in on, we'd love to have a conversation with you. There's a QR screen on screen, a QR code on screen. Feel free to scan that and set up a time for a conversation. Otherwise, feel free to flick me an email or give me a buzz, and we can set up a time and go into as much detail as you're keen to have a look at, or see what it might look like for you and your environment as well. We do have a couple of minutes for questions. Saad, I can see you've raised your hand. I don't know if I have the speech function. Are you able to put your question into the Q&A box potentially?
Just looked like he dropped off there for a second after he raised his hand.
He may well have. Okay. Well, look, we might call it there, Saad. I'll follow up with you separately. Any other questions for anyone, please feel free to flick them through. And we look forward to answering those and catching up again soon. And look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks for joining us.